Hello, everybody. So we're just going to give it a quick minute and then we will begin. Apologies for the lateness, but we will be starting shortly. Okay. So, first of all, hello from me. How are you all? I hope you're all well. It's been a while. Well, it's been a month, as it always is. So, first of all, just to introduce myself, if you do not know me, my name is Gemma. I work here at My Learning Cloud as the business development lead. I've worked in My Learning Cloud for about 8 years now. And before that was in the health and social care sector. So hello, lovely to see you all here today. And I have got some wonderful guests with me today. You may well recognize them from, well, other webinars and live demos that we do. I drag them along, kicking and screaming to everything I do to support me. I'm only joking, but over to you, Jordan, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name's Jordan, and I'm the senior digital consultant at My Learning Cloud. So, part of my role is to work with our new customers. So, when you're looking for a new learning management system or e-learning provider, I'm the person that you meet just to explore the different options that we offer, and just to see how that can meet your kind of organization's training requirements. Over to you, Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the Senior Digital Content Specialist. So I basically look after the e-learning, whether it's our existing course library, new upcoming courses, or bespoke courses for our customers. I will look after all of that.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. So, today, what we are planning to discuss, let's have a look. So, today, what we're going to cover, we are going to cover the journey of onboarding with My Learning Cloud. So, from sign up to success, what does that mean? Because I think it's interesting. We all talk about what you get once you're with us, but how do you get to that point? How do you get embedded in your LMS and make it yours and deliver that to your organization? We're all going to also going to do a little recap of what's new for My Learning Cloud. So what have we released recently to you guys? And let's have a little bit of look at that and a little recap. And then, very excitingly today, we're going to have a look at what's on its way. So, what is in our development pipeline? What is in our roadmap for 25, 26? And just a little sneak peek at what we're going to be working at. So, sign up to success. Now, Jordan, I'm going to pass over to you a little bit here because if any of you know and have joined us recently, Jordan is the wonderful individual that you'd be talking to when signing up with My Learning Cloud, and then taking you on to meet our onboarding specialists and our account managers at that point. So, Jordan, what does sign up mean to you? What kind of process do the guys go through?
Yeah, so often when I'm kind of doing discovery calls with customers who are looking to implement a new system, they usually have a existing system in place. And one of the key questions we get is how does that onboarding process look and how kind of, what does that process look like? Is it easy? And what we're kind of here to do is make that as smooth as a transition really as it can be, just because we know that you've got a lot of existing data and a lot of kind of configured learning that you want to move across to the system. So you have a kind of dedicated team that will support you with that onboarding process. So that's my colleagues, Lawrence and Benedict. And usually what we would do with the onboarding process is we now have a bulk upload tool. So for new customers, we will now give this tool to you 2 weeks before your contractual start date, just because a bit of feedback that we'd had previously is that often the kind of data migration does eat a little bit into that contract time frame. So you will get a 2 week onboarding period with uploading that data. And that's kind of stage one. And generally what we would do is advise customers in the best way to format that data. and how that needs to be presented and uploaded onto the system. That's step one of the onboarding process. And then the next element of it is your configuration process. So this is where you start to look at the system and kind of how you tailor that to your requirements. So if you're a kind of Loomis Essentials customer, how do you want to structure your e-learning journeys? If you're a Loomis Pro customer, how do you map across all of the learning components? So where do those workshops fall in? Where do you want those policies to be? And how we assign them to the individual members of the team. Often when I explain this process, people look in absolute fear, like, oh my God, this is a lot of work to do. However, what you are is fully supported through that. So again, my colleagues Lawrence and Benedict, and also your account manager as well, will sit down and do a platform kind of configuration call with you. So that's a full kind of run through of the system and each individual area. And then usually what we ask is, what areas do you want to cover? What areas do you feel comfortable doing? What areas do you not feel so comfortable doing? And we'll look at that in a little bit more detail with you. So it could be, for example, you've got all your data in place, but now you want to learn how to use those learning journeys and the best way to configure that for your team's requirements. So we can sit down for 15 minutes, do a couple of journeys with you, and then we would say, right, over to you now. Feel free to configure the rest. Obviously, the team are in touch with you throughout that whole process. So if you do have any questions, it's not a case of, oh, don't ask us any questions. We are here to obviously support you, but we want to give you ownership to use that system, and kind of forms part of that training package that we offer as well. So for some organizations, it may be that you've got a kind of small admin team so that you can have one training session. Other organizations that may have larger teams want specific kind of training sessions for different groups of people, which is something that we're able to accommodate as well. So that's kind of what onboarding looks like to us, unless there's anything you think I may have missed off there at all, Gemma.
No, not at all. I think it's quite interesting what you brought up there, that it can seem like a lot, but realistically, what we're saying is upload your existing data and let's configure a system to work how you want to. If you've come to my learning cloud, it will be because you're wanting to see improvements in your compliance and your learning and development area of your organization. So let's work together to make sure this is going to work exactly how you want it to. So your learners are doing the right learning that you see as relevant for them in their role. And let's work together. I always use the very corny line of it. It's like it's our LMS made for you. Honestly, can be tailored and manipulated to do what you want it to do. So it's important for us to have those conversations and really look at what that journey means to you. So that's sign up. Thank you so much, Jordan. So then we go on to the kind of success part of it. So that's when we've done that work that Jordan has just spoken through, and you've worked with onboarding and your account manager to successfully get to that. So what happens next? Well, it's very simple. Once you're happy with the system, you just get hold of us and you go live. Once you're happy, that's it. And it's as easy as that. You can kind of sit back and relax because your welcome links go out to all of your staff members that has all of their login details on it. So they can simply, it will have a link, they'll click the link and it will just ask them to reset their password to something they remember. Let's be honest, we live in hope that they remember it. They might not always, but don't panic. We have got the magic link built into our system, which just sends them an email to their email address. But that first step of getting them to rewrite their password is going to really help and support that. Then once they're on, because of that wonderful configuration work that you've done with your account manager and the onboarding team, that's it. That learner knows exactly what they've got to do. So it means as soon as they log on to their LMS, they're empowered to complete the learning that's relevant for them. Not all of the learning, not getting lost in the excitement of a new LMS. I mean, we encourage excitement at the LMS. It doesn't always happen for the learners, but we do encourage it. But they can explore the LMS and see all the training that's available from your organisation and ours. But what they do have is a very quick way of seeing what is relevant to them. And that therefore kind of really accelerate your compliance on the system. And that leads us on to the next bit. You've got compliance from the beginning. Okay, so our compliance is live, our system is live, our data is live. So using your historic data, you can already get a compliance matrix out of a system on day dot. So for a nice bit of analysis, what you can do is pull that system on day dot and then look at it 3 months later, maybe, and see how much your compliance has grown within your organization from using My Learning Cloud. But as I said, it does take into consideration your historic data and, of course, anything that's happened from your go live date. So that's it. You're ready. You're signed up and we're looking for success. And I think that's really, really important. Now, something else that could lead to success, if we're thinking of this for maybe a new organisation, or we've had a change within our organisation and that's why we're looking at a new LMS, you may have things like inductions ready for your organisation, or you may want some support in creating an induction. And Amy's going to know that I'm segueing all my way over to her to talk briefly about Sign Up to Success is great with our LMS, but what else do MLC offer?
Yes, so some of you may know that we offer bespoke courseware services as well. We gave them a little bit of a facelift last year, actually. So we now offer 3 services. If you have one of our courses that you love, but you're like, it talks about policies and procedures in here, say, for example, safeguarding, what would be really nice was to put our own policies and procedures in there. You can do that with our edit the existing service. So you can edit it, you can add pages, you can delete pages, you can change information to make it tailored to your organization with minimal kind of effort on your part. We also have our custom built courses, which was our kind of existing bespoke service, that premium, fully tailored course creation, starting from the ground up. You give us an idea, we'll build a course that's tailored to your needs. And we also introduced a new service last year called My Learning Converter, as Gemma was mentioning about workshops and inductions. So with this service, you simply provide us with, for example, an existing workshop, your PowerPoint slides. We will take that away and make that into a fully functioning e-learning course that can be kind of tracked and monitored on your LMS, as with all our other courses, taking away the time, the effort, the money of workshops. And it's quite cost effective. It starts from as little as £12 a page. We kind of have a build it yourself costing model where we can send out a document that tells you what pages are what prices. So it's fully transparent and you can kind of come to us saying, this is my course, this is how much it will cost. Off you go. So yeah, our bespoke services are available for all customers. And as I said, the bespoke courses can be uploaded onto your LMS and monitored as with all our others.
Perfect. Thank you. It's as if we planned it. So, as I said, sign up to success. Success means a lot of different things at My Learning Cloud. It means compliance. It means ease of use of a system, and it means relationship building. And all of those are very important to us here at My Learning Cloud. And of course, bespoke creation. So, looking at what we've got next. So, what have we released recently? Let's have a little look, because me and Jordan are often out and about. We've been at trade shows, we've been doing different demos and what's the word? Presentations of our platform and what it does. And what's really interesting to see is the amount that we release and how much that we add to the value of our product as we go. So what have we released recently? So I'll start us off, Jordan. So we've got retake e-learning. So what does this mean? So at the moment on the system, obviously somebody could be doing their e-learning and they've completed that. But actually, I need to have a conversation with them because let's say, for example, there's been a meds error. Quite a dramatic example, my apologies. But say there has been a meds error and I'm talking to that member of staff about that. And I think I'm not feeling too confident. I want them just to relook at that learning for me. And I can go into the admin centre and ensure that member of staff retakes that bit of e-learning. So what that would do was push that learner into a kind of grace period almost again, and it would have that retake label on it. And it would just really ensure that that learner knows that they have to retake that e-learning, and that's also pulled through into a report for you. So a really handy tool to have. So that's something that came out recently, and if you do want any more information on that, then please speak to your account manager. That is a theme that you'll hear throughout this, but absolutely they are here to help you. But if you do have any questions, always feel free to get in touch. Now, next up is our supervision tracker. Our supervision tracker is a new feature built within our system. Well, guess what it enables you to do? track supervisions. So that's always good. Basically, what enables you to do is set up regular supervisions with your staff members. So these can be used obviously as supervisions, those one-to-one meetings, appraisals that we all know and love. A really nice way that we used it recently was for reflective kind of accounts, where you can share that with your manager, and it's kind of this open chat available for you and your manager to upload resources to each other. But the main reason for building this was so you have that trackability. You're in a system where you can already see how their compliance is looking, whether they need to book onto workshops or do more e-learning. So why not bring it all into one place and give you the ability to have that conversation, record that conversation, and have that available in your LMS for you. We then have Loomis Enterprise. Loomis Enterprise is our third tier of our Loomis offering for you guys. So as you know, we've got Loomis Essentials, which is our kind of e-learning and reporting only system. We've then got Loomis Pro, which is our blended learning approach to our LMS. Now, Loomis Enterprise can be used on both Loomis Enterprise and Loomis Essentials and Pro. It's the E's, they're going to get me confused the whole way through this. But Loomis Enterprise is basically this overarching, amazing system, which is fantastic for a head office to be able to have a look at and control the services beneath it. So bear with me because we use parent-child analogies here, and this is when it gets, but we can have, for an example, at the top, if you imagine your head office, for example, as a grandparent, then you've got regions, which are parents, and then within that you've got your individual services sat as children. So it gives you that kind of family tree layered approach, and what it means is that the information from head office can filter down and filter down again. It can be 2-3 layered, it's completely up to yourselves. But it means that head office still gets to see everything that goes on and control what they get to choose what they control on the systems below them. So a fantastic new system that has been launched. And if that is sounding like something that you might be interested in, again, please get hold of your account manager and have that conversation. They may explain it in slightly better than I did just then, I'm sure. And they'll be able to give you an example and a tour around that. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Jordan to talk through the last 4 development bits that we've had out recently.
Lovely, thank you, Gemma. So yes, next we've got our workshop cancellation restrictions. So a lot of what we were hearing from customers are, how do we manage learners booking off or cancelling their workshops? Because it can be quite a frustration sometimes if you've, planned that venue, you've paid for that trainer already. So off the back of that, what we've now introduced is the ability to restrict cancellations off workshops over a certain time period. So if you are a customer that's either using our Loomis Pro platform or your Loomis Essentials Plus workshops, you've now got that option to restrict the time frame. So for example, if it's 7 days from that workshop taking place, then the learner cannot cancel off themselves and they need to request from an admin to cancel their booking on their behalf instead. And I think sometimes that does scare people and put them off making that cancellation if they do need to contact someone prior to cancelling. We've now got online workshops as well. So historically, the kind of workshop supported kind of face-to-face training in terms of, you pop in your venue details where the person needs to be in person, but often we know that some of these face-to-face trainings take place online via Teams or Zoom. So what you now have the ability to do is enter that link into the workshop so that when the learner books onto that training, they still get that lovely calendar invite, but they also have a link with where to join that session. So if you do use Zoom or Teams, you can quite easily get that link and pop that into the workshop. And then I'll probably link these last 2 areas in together. So again, a bit of feedback around what we've had from customers is they wanted to have more insights around the e-learning and what learners are doing on the system. So while our e-learning is presented in a way that engages learners and ensures they don't click through the training, we do know that some people do try to give it a go still. So first of all, we've now got our knowledge check counter. So this will demonstrate or show you how many knowledge check attempts there have been by a learner. So if, for example, they've taken that knowledge check 8 times and you see that on the report, you can quite quickly identify that maybe there is someone who's just trying to guess those answers there. Or it could actually be a little bit more genuine, where you'd want to have a conversation with that individual to say, you know, I've seen it took you 6 times to do this. Is there an area that you don't quite understand, or an area you'd like to recover? And then you've also got your e-learning duration report. So for most of our customers, they may have seen that we had a report which gave average completion time. So now we have a report which will tell you actual completion time for learners. So if you are an organisation that pay your team to complete training outside of their working hours, you now have a report which will give you a definite answer. So if you are paying by the hour, for example, you can use that report. And again, as I mentioned previously, it could be that actually we've got a course with an average completion of 45 minutes, but it's taken someone 5 hours. Again, it's just giving you that insight to maybe prompt and ask, you know, it did take you a little bit longer to complete that course. Is there a particular reason why? Do you need any further support anywhere? So again, just providing kind of insights around that e-learning. And I think Gemma would agree with me that all of these features are based off of kind of customer feedback. So just to kind of demonstrate that we are listening to you. So if there is anything in particular that you'd want to see, or any improvements across the system, please do let your account manager know, because that is all taken into consideration. And we want to hear those thoughts, so this can kind of inform our future development roadmaps moving on from not this year, but the year after.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jordan. And it's true. We've always worked with our customers in mind. Everything we do is on the response to feedback and your wants and needs, and also listening to the sector and the way that it's moving. So thank you for your continued feedback. So now we're going to pass over to Amy. Amy, we have been working hard with courses this year. So talk us through, I'm going to put this out there, we have put a minute amount of the courses we have released within the last financial year, MLC in April to April financial year. And that's how we work strategically, you know, your Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, nearly tripped up there. So courseware, we've just done a snippet of some of our titles that we've released this year. So Amy, did you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Gemma, this is just a snippet. I actually counted them up. We released 35 new courses in the last financial year, and reviewed and updated 37 of our existing courses. So we are constantly working at it. Talking about customer feedback, a lot of people were asking for courses based around CQC. So this month, actually, we've just released our Understanding CQC course. This is for all staff members, a real brief overview to help people understand who CQC are, what they do, why they do it. And you can see some other courses on there, like customer service, menopause, safer recruitment, and also just kind of wanted to draw attention to the fact that we've got 2 courses based in Wales specifically and Scotland specifically. So kind of letting you know that we do recognise that the requirements for training can differ in the devolved nations, and we will always try to meet those training requirements as well. Also, another little thing we introduced, not specific courses, but in the last financial year, we introduced our new extra resources. So with most courses, it's still being rolled out, but all courses will eventually come with Learning at a Glance, which is a PDF of 5 to 6 key points that we'd want learners to take away from the learning. Make Learning Count, which is 3 actionable steps that learners can take to embed that learning. And manager-led competency, which is something that managers can use maybe perhaps through team meetings or supervisions, to kind of check that understanding and measure the competency of learners in those areas.
Brilliant. Thank you, Amy. Honestly, the work that comes out of courseware now. If you don't know, I used to be in the courseware team very much so. So I'm not saying that I'm biased, but it turns out I might be a little. But the work that's churned out and the quality of our courses are just immeasurable. You know, we don't just look at videos as a way of learning. We don't look at kind of gimmicky kind of approaches to our learning. We look at real facts and real scenarios with images to really, you know, create that story for us. So hats off. The baton was passed over. Courseware is absolutely smashing it. So thank you so much, Amy, for that. With that in mind, it doesn't stop there because this is what we've released to date. However, Amy thankfully doesn't like annual leave anyway, and the development team are also hard at it. And we're going to have a quick look at what are we working on. I'm excited. I don't know about anyone else. We've got some big things coming out recently. Both Amy and Jordan would have seen different bits of this. Me and Jordan were on the road last week. We're in a car. Promise everything was very safe, but we were being shown different things on the road. It was amazing. It's so much movement here at My Learning Cloud at the moment. So development. Let's start with the translation tool. It's coming, people. So our courses at the moment, which ties in nicely with what Amy was just saying about obviously Welsh courses as well. So we're going to be able to translate the text into Welsh. So our first iteration of our translation tool is for text, not the audio. So just to make sure that's clear. And then we'll be building that out further. So coming out soon is all of our courseware, and all of the text within it will be translated into language of choice. So we're really excited to see that. Our developers showed me and Jordan this when we were on the road. That's amazing. Does it translate well? I don't know. I'm not sadly talented enough to be multilingual. I wish I was. But it's there, and it's there to support all of your workers, and we're really excited to release that to you guys soon. One of the other things that we heard from you guys loud and clear, we obviously have our built-in evaluation centre for our e-learning, which is really important, but almost like a tumbleweed when it came to workshops. Well, never fear. Here we are, workshop feedback. So how does this work? You would turn this on for your workshops. Once turned on, you'll be able to go into your admin center and edit your questions. There's some rated questions, so 5-star questions, if you will. There's a yes or no question and a free text question. You can edit what that question says, and it works in the same way as our evaluation center for e-learning at the moment. So you go into your evaluation center and you would look at your workshops, and there you would have all your amazing feedback. So that is coming soon, which is very, very exciting. Linked learning. What is linked learning, I hear you ask? Well, what that is the ability to almost create a overarching piece of learning. So as an example, I'll give you two. If I've done the safeguarding workshop within your organisation, you may deem that as that would cover anything that is in our level 2 e-learning and your policy, because you cover all of your points in your policy within your workshop, and you cover anything that's in our level 2 safeguarding in your workshop. So what you can do is say, okay, once I've marked this learner as complete here, that will mark them as complete in these two components. They do not need to do this training. Another way of looking at it is, for example, for care certificate. Okay, so as you know, most of the care certificate titles we have our level 2 version for. So care certificate is fantastic. It's a real good minimum standard of what we need care workers to know. But as you know, with our system, like I said, we have more robust versions of that learning. So if I was looking at, I'm trying to think of one of our titles that we've got, but say basic life support, for example, I would mark that if I've completed the basic life support level 2, our normal e-learning, that would mark them as complete in their care certificate. So we're not having to do that duplication of learning again. So that's linked learning coming soon. Accessibility. Again, something that we've really been working on here at My Learning Cloud. So in terms of our course, I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback and a little bit of context to this. I've got you all excited. So with our courseware, as you may or may not know, depending on how quickly you click through, I'm sure you don't, there are blocks of text which are on coloured backgrounds. Now, what this has done is obviously made it very difficult to put kind of colour screenings in that a lot of people require when looking at accessibility tools. So the reason this has taken us a little bit longer than we'd hope is because we need to go through our courseware and make sure that all of those blocks are then white blocks with black text. Because obviously if we've got a coloured block with white text and we put a colour screen on, that's actually going to make that really difficult for the reader to use, and it's going to be make it less accessible, which is not what we want from an accessibility tool. So there's just that background bit of work that we're doing at the moment to ensure that any accessibility tool we use on the system is actually going to be of the most high quality standard for you guys and not create more issues. And by last but no means least is a training hours report. So Jordan alluded to something that we've released recently, which is the actual course duration. How long did that actually take your learner? And we're going to create a training hours report. So for example, I've had a new member of staff. How much training hours have they done in the last 2 weeks? So that could include workshops and it will include e-learning as well. And that will pull that out for you so you can then work out costings if you pay your staff, or just make sure that they've done a fair amount of training hours. Now I'm handing back over to Amy here because we have, and again, a handful of what we got coming up in courseware.
Yes, we handpicked the most exciting ones on the slides, but we have coming up conflict resolution. This will be 3 courses to suit different roles, different responsibilities in different sectors. Risk assessment, this is one that has been highly sought after. So I will say we are looking for feedback or input on what you'd like to see in this course. So if you're like, absolutely, this is what I want this course to cover, please do get in contact with your account manager and they can pass that on to the team, and we'll include that as we're writing it. We're also looking at environmental sustainability, personality disorder, and really exciting, there will be a suite of courses about understanding and improving your CQC rating. So this will focus a course on each of the key questions, which will cover the quality statements within it, how you can kind of provide good care in that area, how you can evidence that, and then how you can go above and beyond to provide more outstanding care. As I said, it will be a course on each of the key questions, and they will be specific to residential or home care based services. So there'll be a suite of 5 courses for residential and 5 courses for home care services. And yeah, we're busy. That's just a little taster. There is many more around that as well.
Absolutely. It's a credit to our team of how hard they work. As you all know, we are a team that we're all internal. We're all parts of the organisation. That's how we create our system. That's how we create our content. We don't outsource. And we all have the sector at the heart of everything we do. So thank you so much for your time today. And thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. Jordan's email address is there for you if you do have any questions. If in doubt, if you are an existing customer, at least do get hold of your account manager where they'll be able to talk this all through with you. But with that in mind, thank you so much for attending, everybody. It's been a pleasure to speak with you today, and we hope to see you again soon.